Hey everybody, welcome to another Romanvs The Collective. Today's topic, do men have real conversations or just basic ones? Um, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Speaking as a man, um, we talk about everything. It just depends on the moment. Um, Oftentimes, when I'm kicking it with the boys, we're just talking about regular nonsensical things. Um, We're either watching something together, playing some video games, just kicking it again. Now, when something in life happens that deeply impacts us, those are the times that, yeah, we have conversations, especially if we're in the Discord and somebody's going through something at work or in their personal life and they've kind of hit a wall. The way it usually happens is the person going through it will usually share it with one guy, and they've had multiple conversations about the topic at hand. And then when they get to the Discord, suddenly one of them will mention something, just something that has to do with it, but very subliminal. And then immediately one of us will just question it, like, what is going on? What's happening with this? And suddenly the floodgates are open, right? And then it's an open forum, and now everybody's giving their 2 cents. But yeah, we have real conversations. Now, I will say that I don't have those real conversations with just anybody. I have those conversations with those that I value their opinions. I found that when I was younger, I used to share a lot. And then it got to the point where I stopped sharing altogether. Now that comes gradually. I didn't even notice the change. It's not like something I just decided one day. I'm not going to tell nobody none of my. It's just something that gradually happened. I kind of felt like there was nobody to talk to, nobody to bounce off of. And ultimately what it is that in this journey of life, we're constantly growing. We're evolving. We're changing. We're maturing. And again, that's not just emotionally and physically, and it's a mental thing, right? Like your brain isn't even fully developed until what? The end of your 20s, early 30s. You're still growing. Every part of you is still adapting to this world. And ultimately, it just came down to the fact that I felt like I don't want to be a certain way. I don't want to be negative. I want to be hopeful. That's what I strive to be. And I'm a pessimistic at heart. I used to be optimistic, then I turned into a pessimist. And now I'm just trying to be neither. I'm trying to be more centered, more in the middle. I want to see things for what they are, but with a willingness and a yearning and a drive to make things better, and believing that if I put in that work, things will get better. And a lot of the people that I associate with aren't necessarily at that point in their lives. They're more like, things are what they are, it's whatever. Or, there's nothing I can do at this point. Or they see nothing wrong. And all of that is fine for them. But for me, it isn't. For me, I want to be better. I always feel like I can fix something about myself or whatever the case may be, or whatever's going on. I feel like there's always room for improvement. And so I learned a long time ago, generally speaking, I will have those kinds of conversations, those deep, meaningful, life-altering, I just need to vent or share or learn from individuals I respect and I feel I can gain something from. So generally speaking, I don't have many of those conversations because in my day to day, I don't feel like there's that many people I can look to and say, okay, they got it figured out. And I would like to emulate that, or I would like to take a piece of what they do or how they operate and include it into my own way of doing things. And so it's a little difficult on that front. But that's not to say that I don't learn something from everybody. It's just that typically I'll learn from the mistakes of others versus me getting actual advice from someone or sharing something with something and then like opening my eyes to it. Generally, for the most part, everything I learn is through the mistakes of others at this point. So those conversations for me at this current juncture are few and far between. I'd like it to be better. But realistically, the people that surround my day to day at this point are pretty set in their ways, and I don't feel that they're necessarily looking to grow. I feel like they feel like they've reached their max potential, or they don't see the need. They feel fine, and that's good enough for them, which is, again, perfectly fine. It's just not where I'm at. Like I'm constantly looking for ways that I can be a better dad, be a better partner, be a better worker, be a better manager, be a better person, be a better son, be a better brother, be a better uncle, because there are those days that it'll hit me out of the blue, and I'll quickly remember I'm an example for other people, and things that I do affect other people tremendously, whether I like to admit it or not. And then there are also some days where, I'll take the opposite viewpoint, and I'm just like, why is it that I feel like I'm that important and affect other people? Like, who am I? What? Like, I'll look at it from the perspective of how conceited can I be to think that the things I do and say affect other people? But it's true. Because everybody goes through different things, and your actions, your inactions, they all affect people. Now, whether or not it's but a pebble or a boulder, depends on the individual, depends on the time that it happens, what they're personally going through at the time, and so on and so forth. But we do affect each other. And my effect, the way I look at it, my effect on other people is important to me. And those are the kinds of conversations that I like to have and I like to think. But at this current time, I just find myself having those conversations by myself. And it's important to be able to have those conversations with other people and be able to share those and be able to sit down and have those conversations without judgment and just come from a good place and have those debates. And since I can't have them with anyone per se in my day to day, that's why I decided to come out with the podcast. That's why I decided to get the guys together and say, hey, I'm going on this journey and I want you guys to accompany me from time to time. And it's not something that they're here every single day, because I know that they have to be in a certain headspace in order to participate. And that's okay. It's no one else's fault that my headspace right now currently is seemingly always on this. It's always on analyzing and thinking those deeper thoughts. And maybe it's a midlife crisis. Maybe it's the mid to the midlife crisis. I don't know what it is. But the point is I often find myself questioning everything. And if I can't have anyone to share that with, then I'll share it with the world. But that's it. That's how I feel on that. Continue, guys, to like, comment, subscribe, and all those things. Share your questions. Share the posts. I appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you. And I will catch you on the next one.